Starting. Oh, okay, there we go. All right. Jesus fuck. All right, yeah. Welcome everybody. This is exciting. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. We've done a lot of Stranger Danger episodes. That's how we started the Patreon. Is just doing rant episodes of Juan and stuff like that. And obviously, Billy constantly wants to do a rant episode because he can't shut the fuck up with his banter and everything. But I think it's a good idea to have some video content for you guys. Obviously, we do the strange streams and everything, but I think it's a good idea to even for the rant episodes. This will be on our Patreon under the Stranger Danger fucking tag, whatever you want to call it. You know who I am if you're subscribed to the Patreon, obviously. And who do we have with me?
I'm Aran from Class Horrorcast, Irish horror podcaster, and I've got to chat with the guys, and I think it's like I suppose not rekindle my love for
Yeah.
paranormal, encrypted, and just like conspiracies and stuff, but
Lit the
maybe
flame kind of thing.
yeah, like maybe giving me an outlet more so, like so now I don't have to go around and like have my close family thinking I'm fucking some psychotic. I was gonna say something there, and I will not say it.
It's Patreon. There's no censorship.
I was going to say some psychotic school shooter.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's yeah, but
but
yeah,
I think
exactly.
sometimes like because I don't have an outlet for that stuff,
Yeah.
I'm like solving like uh unsolved disappearances and stuff, and my family are like, "Will
Yeah.
you shut the fuck up about UFOs? Will you shut up about Mothman?"
I get that all the time, honestly, but mine's more or less, especially the government shit, because like it's just like I didn't talk to my fucking mother, and she like wants to come on the podcast, and fans have asked for it, and I said it's gonna be Patreon content if it ever happens. But I didn't talk to her for like 3 months because she didn't understand what the Freedom Convoy was fighting for. I like got so mad. I was like, you don't understand. These people are fighting for fucking freedom. And then I was they're like, fine. You want to fucking understand? You want to stay blinded by all this shit? Then fuck off.
Do you find that creates a lot of rifts in your life? Maybe not all the time, like, but you find sometimes that certain people treat you a little bit differently because I'm the same, like, and especially if I have an idea or a belief about a certain thing, I find it really hard to back down off that fucking position.
Yeah, I can't not do it, and that's why people have to get used to me. Like, I honestly, everywhere I go, mostly everyone likes me. It's pretty rare if somebody doesn't like me, but also I really fucking don't know any liberals and shit. I don't know. Other than like, I don't like other than maybe some family members that are like, "Oh, the government's not that bad." It's just like I really don't know. I don't know where these people are that just believe that the government's gonna fucking save them and help them and shit. But oh yeah, I've been labeled crazy my whole fucking life. And for the Patreon listeners, I was hungover. I worked pretty late last night, so I fucking drank some beer and took some shots. And then I woke up and I was like, you know what? You know what helped this? Fucking chewing a fucking 0.5 of mushrooms. So I took some mushrooms. Not a lot, but at the beginning, before we recorded, I was like trying to get the fucking stomach shit. And then I was like, all right, I feel fine now.
For anyone, I haven't taken mushrooms or anything like that, but if anyone sees me moving around weird, there's a spider somewhere before we started recording that's like on my head or around me somewhere. Every now and again, I feel it like I thought it was back there a second ago. So no, I'm
Yeah,
not high or fucked up or anything.
I am. I'm always. That's the whole point of our show. We are literally being smoked out of a fucking bog by an alien. Yeah, and I feel like it's a 0.5. I feel like it's just starting to like kick in a little bit, but it's not gonna do shit. I chewed like fucking 4 grams last week on the weekend. My girlfriend was just drinking and she's like, wait, like tell me when you're starting to feel it because I'm gonna go smoke a crystal bowl, like just keef, I guess people call it, but like weed crystal.
Hmm.
And I was like, I told her I was getting lost in my head at one point. And we were just like watching shows, and I was trying to watch Cat Williams' new stand-up because I love Cat Williams. And I was like just getting lost in my head, and I'm like, I don't know if I can make it out of here. I was like, let's stop. Because like I did like a tea and I poured boiling water in it. Thought that I ruined it. Supposedly, if you boil it, like if it's too hot of water, you can ruin them. So I waited like an hour and I'm like, weird, they're not kicking in, kicking me. And then so I went and I fucking chewed like maybe a gram. I was like, ah, fuck it, let's see what this. And then I was like, oh no, it fucking is hitting me. I didn't need the extra gram. And I was like, you can get lost in your fucking mind. Like,
I think the reason as well that I probably stopped doing some of that stuff was maybe, and this might actually help having the Patreon exclusive stuff more regular. But I just
Yeah,
always had this like crazy fear. Not that I'm like some, fucking Joe Rogan level podcaster or whatever, but I
yeah,
always
yeah.
had this weird fear of like, if I get like too high or too drunk or a combination of both, I'm gonna say some like awful shit, and then I'm gonna be one of those like news stories where like people are like digging into my life and like my past, and I'm trying to like fuck me up.
See, and the thing is, I try to not be that paranoid, and that's why like we did a Christmas special. Fucking Patreon listeners will know, and I put it up for like a day, and it got like 200 views, something like that. I'm like, all right, I gotta fucking put it on the Patreon because I started. Me and Billy got pretty drunk. I got pretty drunk, and I was like, all right, this needs to just be a Patreon exclusive because we're talking about trans issues and amongst other things. And fucking one of the fans like, oh, drunk Uncle Tom coming out of the fucking woodwork and shit. And I'm like, yep. And then the thing is, we also did a live special for St. Patty's Day, right?
Hmm.
And honestly, like maybe we'll subscribe to each other's Patreon so we can see each other's content and stuff like that. But you should watch it because I get fucking so drunk. I didn't realize the stream was still running, and after I fucking collapsed and fell. And I slowed it down and put it all in slow mo for the Patreon listeners. The people that are on here will know.
So
But
that's still on Patreon.
yeah, it's fucking like near the end of it. I had to cut some stuff, but we did a whole live thing, and there was like a bunch of people in the chat, and like, oh, fucking Tom's drunk because like the last 15 minutes, they're asking me like what it would take to join the Illuminati, and then I started to fucking lose it, and I was like literally like wasted. I like drank whiskey sours the whole time, and I made them myself. So it was just pretty much drinking straight whiskey with just fucking sugar, and I was fucking so drunk by the end of the fucking live. And I was like, all right, this is definitely just Patreon content. People that really enjoy our shit can see me. And it's like twice now, probably like, yeah. There's like been specials where I just get fucking abolished because I'm like, whatever, we're having fun. It's St. Patty's Day. And I was like, someone needs to get fucked up with the St. Patty's Day episode. And I did.
And that's probably maybe even more so than getting high. But my fear has always been because I used to drink quite a bit on like
Yeah.
live streams and different things, and I remember one in particular, and it actually ended up getting pulled from YouTube. But I was doing a stream with a guy who has another podcast, and like he drinks nearly any time we've ever done anything. But I was like, you know what,
Except
I'm gonna
me.
start drinking whatever. And my issue is like I never know when to stop. So it's like,
That's me too.
yeah.
I don't know, man.
And we started ranting about some whatever shit about governments and this and that, and like like 2-3 hours had passed, and at this
Holy
point like
fuck.
I was like fucking like deep now, and like I could barely see at this point. And he had to dip for some reason, but somehow, and I can't even remember, I actually think I still have the entire stream on my computer. um he had to dip, but a chick that he knew, so he lives in New York, but a chick that he used to work with, who now lives in California, somehow she was in the the comment section in the chat.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, you ending the stream or something," and somehow anyway, she ended up on the stream with me.
What?
Yeah, and I've never met this person.
Like, who the fuck are you?
I don't even remember how or
How'd they
why.
get the link?
Yeah, I don't remember how or why. I can't remember if I told him on Instagram, "Yeah, it's cool, give her the link." And it's just me sitting there for like another, like, this ended up being like a 5-hour stream,
Holy
and
shit.
I'm
I would be
sitting there.
wasted.
It's like 5 in the morning my time, and like I'm absolutely just wasted, and I'm talking to this chick that I literally have no idea what her name was, and
That's
I'm just going off on one. She starts talking about Facebook and stuff, and I just fucking
yeah, it went off. That's fucking crazy. It's just like with the St. Patty's Day episode, it was hilarious because um like people were still in the chat. My brother was, and my brother knows I can get fucking drunk. And like I left the stream up for like 2 hours after, and it just eventually just stopped recording because my screen shut off, and it was just black in here, and just for hours. And there was people talking in the chat to each other, being like, "What the fuck is happening?" I'm like, "That's what happens when I get fucking wasted." Because I kept playing the same video over and over again. Like, I played like clips from the movie Leprechaun, and I kept clicking it. I was like fucking so drunk. Yeah, you have to watch it because I literally collapsed. Like I fall and I get up and I'm like, I'm good. And then I fucking, it was bad. It was bad.
that's like one of those things where someone leaves the stream going and like they end up getting fucking, they hear a noise or something and they go off and end up getting like murdered or some shit.
I know. Well, that's like it is funny that we were watching videos of people falling down drunk, and I literally fell down drunk. There was like bruises on my legs. Like, I hit fucking hard. And my girl, and then guess what time it was? I come downstairs. My girlfriend's like, "It's fucking 9:30." Okay, she's like, "You were fucking wasted. And it's 9:30." And I'm like, "Haven't go to bed by like 10." I was like wasted by 9:30 p.m.
Oh,
Like
you were already like,
I was gone. In 2 hours, I drank a whole 26er of whiskey, pretty much. It was not good. I was like, "It's fine." I just kept pouring it. It was dark in here, so I was like, just didn't even fucking think about it. So fucking stupid. I'd rather
how,
do mushrooms than do that.
how, how are your hangovers
They
at your
suck.
current age and
Oh
health
man.
wise just beat the shit out of you?
I fucking like drinking. It makes me loose, and it's the thing is, there's been times where it's worse than others. I think it depends on what I drink now that I'm older. Man, when I was a kid, I couldn't give a fuck, right? Like whatever.
Mhm.
Like most times, I would be like, I'm good. I had all these fucking beers. As I get older now, man, like I had probably 3 beers last night and 2 or 3 shots of gin, and I fucking feel like I felt hungover this morning, and it goes away. But man, sometimes I'm like, and you don't sleep well and shit. It's now going to my 30s is fucking kicking my ass. I'm like, God damn it, I love this fucking shit. It's probably gonna kill me one day, but
That, yeah, that happened to me, and I feel like it hit me like a ton of bricks where it was
time I was
like
like
you said,
29, 30.
yeah, like, and like you said, like when I feel like when you're younger, and especially like, you know, if you started like doing dumb shit when you were like young,
Yeah,
um, like I feel like I probably could have drank, smoked, taken nearly anything, and somehow been able to come out the other side.
yeah,
And like now it's just like, especially with alcohol, I think depending on the mixture, because of course I can't just settle for, you know, if I'm drinking beers or whatever. If somebody
mhm.
whips out tequila or some stupid shit that I
Yeah.
don't
I'm like, yeah,
really
let's
want to
do
drink,
it.
I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
See, and I don't know when to stop. That's my issue. Is like I'm
Yeah.
having fun, and my girlfriend's like whole motto thing is like, "Oh, like you're not drunk." Because I was like, "I'm not even drunk," and it's just like I'm definitely drunk. And it's just like, it's like, and then she's always like, and she gets a good buzz on. She'll drink with me, but she's always like, Where you need that line?" Because she's like, "What if you don't think you're drunk? What's the you want to get wasted? Is that like?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I don't." And that's why, and fans of the podcast will know this at the beginning of this, man. We used to just get fucking, we used to drink like a 26. Me and Billy would sit there within an hour, finish off like a 26er or like drink like a Mickey and a bunch of beers. And we don't do it the same way. We just usually have like a bunch of beers or like, mixed drinks is what I drink and I go to. But yeah, it is certain things. It's like, how is this shit kicking my ass the way like it is as soon as like I hit like 29, maybe like the last
Mm,
2 years, I'm like, what the fuck? It sucks
yeah,
because I hate hangovers. I hate them. I just deal with them, but I'm also angry as fuck when I'm hungover. Like
that's
annoyed at everything.
and I actually gave up drinking for like nearly 2 years at one point from,
Wow, I tried 2 weeks and I was trying a month and I did 2.5, 3 weeks. And I couldn't do it. I was like, fuck it.
well, what had happened to me was, like you said, I never know when the line is, and
Yeah.
a chick that I was dating at the time, it just ended up. Now I could see it, but at the time I was like, "Oh, bitch, stop ruining my fucking fun time."
Yeah.
Anytime we'd go anywhere, like I would always have to end up being like the motherfucker that would like drink anything that anybody would give me,
That's
and
funny.
then
No
it's
wonder
like
we get along.
4 a.m. and like, you know, I have to have her and somebody else like basically carry me back to my apartment, and then I
J-
proceed to go in, fall all over the apartment, like
Yeah.
smash a load of shit, like on like by mistake, like hit picture frames off the
Oh,
wall
I know, and knock things
and
off the
shit, and
fucking
like,
wall and shit. You know how many times I've hit in my head? Like Chelsea thinks that like I was like, that's my girlfriend for everybody probably knows. But even for your fans, my girlfriend's name is Chelsea. I talk about her quite a bit because I live with her and I've been with her for like 12 years on and off. So she knows me pretty well. And I've hit my head plenty of times. And I'm like, one day I could wake up and be a serial killer because I have so many fucking head injuries. Like those fucking football players that beat their wives in a fucking elevator. It's just like, bro, something's wrong with your brain. Do you find that there's a like, is there a stigmatism in Ireland? Just like, do you find that you guys drink more? Like, do you find that more people drink and enjoy drinking? Like, I hear like you're fucking a lot of your like pubs are just packed full, right? People just love the pub environment.
yeah, like going out here is like a Um, and even at home drinking as well is quite big, but we tend to do a mixture. Like I see a lot of times in the States and different places, people like to have like a house party or whatever, and it
Yeah,
ends up being just that. But for some reason, the culture here has always been right. Okay, so I need to get
I'm
some
gonna go to the
drinks.
bar.
Yeah, well, so this is basically how a typical, like, if you were going out with all the guys or whatever, it would be like, right, okay, so I need to have some beers while I get ready. So it's like I need to
Yeah,
like drink when
pre-drink.
I get out of the shower and drink before and then go to somebody's house for like
Yeah,
a pre-drink thing and then like get absolutely shit faced there. Then
show up at the
basically,
bar fucked
yeah,
up.
like fucking out of your mind. Go in there, drink as much as possible, just fall around the place, just and then of course my personality then is 2 a.m., 3 a.m. when they're telling everybody to get the fuck out. I'm like, okay, so whose house are we going to now? How are we going to get more alcohol? What's
Yeah,
going on?
because you're like, you don't really want to stop. If you're having fun, it's just like, I'm awake. I'm drunk now, so let's go do something. Like the thing is, and it's just like that's why I need a line. And I think the fans will appreciate me talking about this. I do think I need a fucking line. I need to figure out like I'm trying to. And that's honestly why I'm using mushrooms for a bunch of different shit, but to it's like curb fucking certain shit in my brain, but also like try to kill my fucking ego to some sort of like see if I can do it. Anton's like, be careful because if you kill your ego, you're gonna kill your personality. And I'm like, will I though? I think I'm always gonna be fucking this crazy. But I'm like, and I also want to use them more or less for like trying to like wean off alcohol. And I think that if I really want to, like, I enjoy vaping. I think if I got high on mushrooms and told myself stop vaping, I could like just literally kill the habit in my brain.
There's a lot of stuff I would like to go deeper. I think into things like mushrooms and
I would
stuff
love
like
to
that.
try acid, man. I want to try acid once.
Ever since I started training jujitsu full time, and a lot of the guys, the coaches, like a lot of them smoke a lot of weed and
Jujitsu coaches,
yeah, and like take
really?
mushrooms and shit. Like they're very like, but not in like
Zen.
a yeah, not in like a party. Like let's get fucked up and like don't know
Yeah,
what's going on. It's
just
all
for medicine.
yeah, and I feel like it started to maybe open my mind to some of that shit. Like I had a big problem with alcohol, like a huge problem.
I
Um,
fucking still do.
and like I would say I still probably do, but I think maybe taking those 2 years, it was like an awful 2 years, dude. Honestly, I was like probably
Bored?
suicidal for most of it.
I'm
Like
so fucking bored.
genuinely just like fucked in the head. I was like, I'm never gonna get out of this hole. Like, what is going on? And I feel like
Why?
though,
Then that's the when you stop drinking. Isn't this supposed to make you feel better
yeah, well, I think what it was like I had to actually it gave me the time to be sober
and
constantly
think
and
about it?
yeah, and like actually think
Yeah.
about is alcohol actually the problem, or is it like maybe a little bit of my like shitty attitude being like amplified by alcohol?
Yeah, and it's like that's why like mushrooms make you like confront yourself. Bro,
Yeah.
what I did on fucking Saturday, my girlfriend's like, "What are you doing up there?" And I was like, I stared at my fucking self in the mirror, and it fucking is the I saw the craziest shit. Literally, my face like morphed into like those psychedelic art where it's just like you see like this. It's fucking. It's hard to explain. I was trying to explain. I was trying to look for this art, but it literally looks like I look like I was looking like that art where it like splits into geometry, and you can see like you look like a Buddha character, but like in some sort of like complex painting, and like I was like, I always try to fuck with myself, right? I'm always like, kill your ego and like be like, who are you? And it's just like, and you fucking see, it is like with mushrooms, especially if you're only taking a certain amount of dose, you need to stare. You need to like fix your stare and you can start seeing shit, especially when it comes to things in nature and then yourself. Like legitimately, I've never seen I was like, let's just see what happens. My buddy's like, yeah, just try staring yourself in the mirror and see what happens. I was like, all right, let's do this. And it was fucking crazy. One of the craziest shit I've ever seen. It
I,
is
I'm fascinated by all that, and I actually like I've looked into it a couple of times. Like I'd love to go on one of those like retreats.
What do you
Uh,
think about ayahuasca? Would you
yeah,
try that? Would
that's
you?
what yeah, I like it was something I was seriously considering. I know there's some here in Ireland, but I don't know if it's like I had seen a guy. There's a Scottish podcaster called James English, and he
Is he
had done like a
Scottish?
yeah, I know, right? How ironic.
Mm.
Um, he had done a like a YouTube documentary about it, and same kind of thing. Like I think he was like, a troublemaker and all this shit through his whole life and whatever. And he was kind of trying different things like mushrooms and all this stuff. And he went to Mexico, I want to say, or somewhere like that, and
Peru does a lot of it.
yeah, and went on one of these like retreats, and it just looks so fucking wild. And just to hear him talk
Yeah.
about it afterwards, he was like, I sat down in a room with myself and like had all these conversations, and then I got to like talk to all the people, like ex-girlfriends, baby
What?
mamas, this shit and all. He was like, and I got to like deal with it all.
And he talked like he wasn't actually physically talking to these people,
No,
right? It
he
was
was
in
like,
his
I was
head.
just like in a fucking room, and after I like shit, pissed, and vomited all
Yeah,
over
that's
myself.
what we watched. Who's that stupid bitch? Chelsea Handler.
Yeah.
She did ayahuasca, and it seems like it's a fucking process. That's why even like with mushrooms, I'm like whatever. I just deal with whatever issues, the gut, the nausea, because I believe that you need pain for certain things
Hmm.
to learn from and shit like that. And that's why psychedelics I think are the way that they are, and don't abuse them either. You build up high tolerances and stuff like that. You can use like them for microdosing, obviously, like that, and curb depression and stuff like that. But ayahuasca, someone's like, man, it looks fucking intense. Like you just shit and fucking like piss all over yourself, and the thing is, and you gotta be careful what shaman you go to because they could give you the wrong shit.
Do So when you shit and piss all over yourself, does somebody come along and clean that up? Or because I'm sure, right, you're like fucked out of your head. So, or
I
did
think
they
at the
just let you?
beginning you just feel awful, and then it starts to kick in. Like there's washrooms usually, in how they have this set up. They usually have toilets all around, and it's just like this fucking looks like a dance floor in the forest. And then there's just like washrooms around. At least the one that Chelsea Handler went to, and like who David Icke is, right? I think
Mhm.
didn't
Yeah.
Gordo talk to him?
Yep.
I want to get him on the show. I have his daughter's email, so it's just me wanting to. I have to just reach out and actually try to put the plugs out there. So maybe Gordo could help, but
I
I was
I would fucking love to talk to him as well. Actually, funny story about um Gordo and those conspiracy guys. I went to upload the video version of my podcast to Gordo,
yeah.
and YouTube will not allow it.
Just because of him.
I assume so because anything else I've tried to upload has no issue, and every time I try and upload that video,
So
every
fucking
single
weird.
time it gets pulled.
Well, it's just
Every
the shit
single.
they talk about, like he talks about too. It was him and who's the other buddy? Because I like, how do I like? I don't. It's been time since I've listened to them. I know Gordo's the main Holmes, but
Well, now he basically does it on his own. Like
really,
he has other guys come in and out,
yeah.
different like, comedian friends and people like that. But
Yeah, that's and he's like the props to him if he ever hears this. He's the one that really got me into podcasts. Like I always like talked about this stuff and then I started listening to those conspiracy guys and then started getting into like Generation Wide, all these other podcasts. And I was like, you know what? Like I've always talked about this. My friends know I'm crazy. Let me just fucking let me do this.
I definitely like without coming across like I'm brown nosing or whatever. I definitely feel like you for sure have a knack for this. It's
I appreciate
something I
that.
think, like obviously during COVID, everybody fucking went, "Oh, I'm gonna make a podcast about
Yeah,
fucking, you know, my shitty
whatever.
underpants because that's what I like," and just weird shit like. And that's fine. Anyone can make a podcast, but I think to be like good at what you do is exceptionally hard.
Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like I've always like I've done music. Like if the fans know, at the end of every podcast, I play one of my songs. Like I've done music for a long time, and I try to expose the truth and the things that are going on, or at least my perspective through music. And I knew like when I was a kid, I was like, I'm gonna be a fucking famous rap star. I live in Toronto. And obviously as I got older, I was like, I was in and out of jail and I kind of fucked my life up, and I was too concerned with chasing fucking pussy and shit like that that I let my dreams kind of slide away. Being an idiot kid because like I went through hell and back in my fucking youth. But the thing is, I put myself there, right? Like it was me that put myself in those situations that got me in jail, that got me getting girls pregnant and then getting fucking abortions and whatever. Someone might hate me for that.
Uh, Man, it's funny. I feel like I've lived the exact same life as you. And just hearing you say that, I'm just interested to hear your take on this. What do you think that, like, obviously, look, there's a biological thing there underlying, but
Yeah.
what do you think it is? Where because I've done that. Like, I fucked my life up for the best part of nearly 10 years,
Yeah.
and a
Same.
lot of now. at the time, look, I probably would have told you, oh, it's chicks are ruining my fucking life, and it's these women, and all the fucking skanks, and they're this and they're that. But what do you think it is where like a dude can have all this creativity and all this shit in his head and dreams and aspirations and whatever, but then there's just like this like underlying like stone age desire to
It
fuck
is. I know. Like, man,
and like
women
fucking stuff
fuck
like
me
that.
up. It is weird because I just think like I always say that monogamy shouldn't work essentially. It just has because of our society and stuff like that. But the fact that men in our DNA, in our fucking inner being, we're supposed to fuck and procreate and as much as possible. Like I always make the analogy that, one woman couldn't birth a town, but one man could literally create an entire civilization. Because say you have all these women, all it takes is that one man to fuck all those chicks, and then you have a civilization. So it is weird. To me, it feels embedded into our DNA, and that we're really just, we're just creatures of havoc and stuff like that, but like actually havoc and that, not habit. And it is interesting because I feel like I'm glad I found Chelsea, but fucking chicks fucked me up all the time when I was like growing up. Like I was in and out of relationships, and then the ones I didn't want really wanted me, and then the ones I really wanted didn't like. And then it wouldn't work out because I was fucking nuts. Like I was crazy as a teenager,
Yeah,
and it is pretty fucking interesting. Even that point, it's
and
weird. I think we're
I
just meant to fuck, like
yeah,
breed.
I was definitely there with a lot of that, and like I can remember like just fucking insane, and I mean absolutely insane situations that I put myself in and that I went through, and it's like I would fucking meet somebody and be like all about them, be like, oh my god, no, we'd be like partying all the time, and I'd be like, yeah, this is like the best thing ever. But then after a while, I'd be like I, God, I shouldn't even be saying this shit. Like,
It's pretty true.
um, I at one point I was like with a
Oh
chick who
yeah,
I'd been like quite into for a long time and kind of chased, and then eventually we got together, and but all we used to do was just like party and drink all the time.
yeah.
And there was one night we were out in a nightclub, and one of my friends that was out with us, he met some just like random chick, and he was like, "Hey, we're going back to your house. Can I bring her with me?" I was like, "Yeah, I need to meet her first, like to make sure she's not like a fucking crackhead or something." So like I'm talking to her, I'm like, "Yeah,
Crackhead
whatever."
Betty.
I'm like fucking drunk, like so. I'm like, "Yeah, cool." Like he literally could have brought up like some toothless fucking, and I was like, yes. So we come back to my house, and we're like sitting around my kitchen table, and I could just tell this chick he brought back just wasn't feeling him. But for some reason, I'm sitting beside my girlfriend, and I'm like, hmm,
I could fuck her.
yeah, I wouldn't mind fucking her. So then I went out the back. We were all smoking out the back. And then I proceeded to, when everybody else went back in, I proceeded to finger blast her up against my back door while my girlfriend was in the kitchen.
See, it's just like a fucked up mentality. Like it's just, I don't know. It's just like the way men are. I talked to like my buddy Mitch. He's been on like one or two episodes. The fans will kind of know if you the Strange Japanese Legends episode. Mitch is a funny ass dude. He's got a great personality. He's very jokey. He's got a good sense of humor. We always talk about like just the natural desires. He's like, yeah, I can't help but if I'm looking at a chick, it's like I'm thinking about the ways I could fuck her. Like it's just like it's a mental. It's just like I believe all men are like this. Matter if you're gay, straight, or fucking whatever. It's just embedded into our fucking DNA. And yeah, it's
It's
just
such a fucking like when I think about that story I was just telling, like that how that whole thing ended was um my girlfriend got way too drunk. I put her up in the bed. I was like, "Yeah, I'll be up soon." I
yeah.
stayed up all night drinking with everybody else. Everybody else fucked off home at like 6 a.m. And this chick was like, "Oh, I live like a good bit outside of town. Don't know what I'm gonna do." I was like, "Stay here." So then my girlfriend comes down. She's like,
Oh,
"What the fuck are you doing?" She starts arguing with me. Now she didn't see anything. We were just
yeah.
sitting there talking. She was like, "Why are you still up with her? Why didn't you come to bed?" So I was like, "You know what you do, bitch? You get out of my house." Like, kick her out, and then I bring the other chick upstairs and fuck her.
That's the crazy mentality. Man, we sound fucking so much alike, dude.
I
It's
remember at the
weird.
time, like, not really thinking that there was any, and then, like, the next morning when,
Any
like, I woke up
consequences.
and I was like, yeah, like, and I was like, oh, I don't want this fucking bitch. I was like, what? Who the
Yeah,
fuck?
because
And
you
I'm like,
realize what you've done. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm like texting my girlfriend, being like, baby, please, no. It's like,
Please, he's a fucked up. And I've done that so many times. Even like that's why me and Chelsea are on and off because like I messed around, especially in my early 20s. I was like messing around with this fucking Jess chick that I worked with, and then like she was also a Scorpio, which means we didn't really blend well, but the sex was good and stuff like that. It was really just sexual. That was really it. And then she would like be like, marry me. I'm like, I don't fuck. We've been fucking messing around for 4 months. I don't want to fucking marry you. And then it made me realize how much obviously that care and how much I did love Chelsea and shit like that. But man, it ended with them fucking fist fighting each other, and I didn't know who to hold back, and it was not good. But it's just like that mentality. Like I was telling a story, work how when I was a teenager, I was ruthless. And I fucked this chick like the night before, and I was still hanging out with these chicks. I hung out with all those emo fucking girls. I was fucking
mm-hmm.
an emo kid, and then I fucked this chick within 3 hours of knowing her, like 2.5 hours, and we were like just fucking teenagers. I think I think she was like 13, I was like 15. And I'm like, man, like my whole thing was like, well, if I fuck virgins, I won't get any diseases. Oh, fucking
I mean, it
crazy.
makes sense.
Yeah. So it's just like I'm glad we're getting these conversations because I think that like especially for people that tune into the Patreon stuff, like it is you get to like learn, I believe, more about the host and the people that you're listening to. Like I make jokes and I talk about my life on the podcast, but not to a huge extent. And I do think that it gives people the ability to kind of see who you're dealing with and get to know you because that's what you're selling people on when they're listening to the podcast is they're selling them on you and your personality and what you come
And,
to offer.
and I think, without sounding like a fucking mental health guru or whatever, but like the shit we're talking about right now, I don't care. Like, I can guarantee, like, a good probably 80 to 90% of motherfuckers have done like shit like that and gone through that, but like
Yes.
nobody wants to say that.
I don't give a shit. I've no, and I
Like,
as I get older, I said this to Chelsea. I was like, it's gonna get worse because I'm gonna
mm,
stop caring less and less because I don't give any. Like, why give a shit? I don't care. I don't care. You, if someone wants to judge me or whatever, like, I couldn't give two shits. It's not gonna affect me. These people that get triggered and hurt over the things that people say is fucking ridiculous. Like, it's not my responsibility to make sure that your feelings aren't hurt because of the things I say because you think that it's someone's opinion. That's right. Like it's so we've had fucking some like we get mostly positive reviews and man, there's some fucking people that have fucking I've been called an ableist on Apple Podcast review. People said like these fucking I can't even listen to these guys are so stupid and it's just like, oh, I'm losing brain cells listening to them. And who knows? They're probably listening to an old episode. We're just getting drunk. Like, it's coming up on the Patreon soon, but I decided to X out the Soldiers on Drugs episode that we did because it's me, Justin, Billy, and we're drinking and smoking up. Billy was smoking. I think Billy was actually smoking weed, which he never does on the podcast. We're over talking each other. We're just having fun. I'm like, yeah, maybe not for the main show, but I'm starting to put them up as lost tapes episodes so
mhm.
people can still hear them. But yeah, of course, if you listen to that shit at the beginning when we're getting drunk, yeah, we sound like a fucking bumbling idiots. We're just like going off, and Billy doesn't shut up, so he's over talking me and everything, and it's just like, but that's what kind
That
of like
even
you
happened to
learn.
me. That even happened to me with that fucking episode with Gordo. Um,
Yeah.
I didn't actually say anything to Gordo, but he even said to me, he was like, in a way, he was like inadvertently telling me to like batten down the hatches. He was like, we said some like out there stuff, so you're probably gonna get dude the amount of Instagram DMs that I got from all females being like, you
Oh, really?
horrible motherfucker. Yeah, because I brought up like for anyone who has listened to it, I brought up shit like that FetLife website and like
Oh
motherfuckers
yeah.
like chicks who like tie in electrical cords around their tits till they look
It's
like fucking.
fucking weird, dude.
And I just like I was just talking about that in the middle of that story about the dude, the vampire killer dude, and just like how some of that stuff for me personally gets a bit like, fucking out there, like when chicks like want to fucking shit in your mouth and do like crazy shit, like kick in the nuts and all. I'm like, whew,
Yeah.
that's fucking out there.
But why were they so mad? The fact that this does happen. There's people like this. Like I knew a fucking dude that used to sell me mushrooms. Um, I blocked him. He got all sad because he's like talking about COVID, and he's like, my friend in Brazil died of COVID. I was like, your friend in Brazil, you're from Canada, but your friend in Brazil died, and you know for a fact he died of COVID and not the shot. And I was like, just joking with him, and then he got like fucking butthurt. So I was like, I fucking deleted him, and then we have a Hoseheads page on Facebook, which used to be a lot bigger, but it got fucking shut down, obviously. And so he's like, I'm sad that you fucking kicked me out, like blocked me. I'm like, bro, like, this is my world on fucking my Facebook. I don't need fucking weird drama,
Your
fucking
stupid shit.
yeah. And the thing is, so he's a gay dude, and he fucking his fucking boyfriend, whatever he is, boyfriend, husband thing. They dress up like fucking dogs and furries. Like he wears like the dog muzzle thing, and they dress up like furries, and they do acid and fuck each other. And it's just like, what the fuck, man? I couldn't even like, man, like mushrooms is enough. Like, and it's even, I think sex would be weird. I've never had sex on mushrooms. Like, I've jerked off on mushrooms, but I've never like really had sex on mushrooms. And even Chelsea's like, we were joking about it. I was like, man, I want to do it. I think it'd be like a spiritual experience. I was like, man, I could just start tripping out all of a sudden. Like, what is this thing? And it's a fucking sticking my fingers in the vagina and freaking out. This is where
And
babies come from.
and then you close your eyes, everything goes black for a second. You open them, and you're fucking a dude doggy style.
I know, yeah, you're just fucking in some nightmare. Like what this that's what I'm saying. Like that shit, like I couldn't give a fuck what you do sexually and stuff like that. That's what like and like they just dress up. Like I couldn't imagine doing acid and fucking dressing up. It'd be weird. I would dress up cosplay and fuck, that'd be fun. Um, but the thing
Yeah,
is,
like and the funny thing is, right?
yeah,
I wasn't even necessarily like I don't give a fuck what anyone does as long as they don't
hurt
do me.
somebody or
Yeah, and like I don't fucking do it to me or try and like
don't
whatever.
don't stick it in my ass, okay?
Yeah, like I don't give a fuck what anybody does.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure we're all into our fucking weird shit, or we enjoy stuff that other people would consider fucking whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like, I had lots of messages basically saying like that I was inadvertently drawing lines between like murderers and serial killers and like people
Fetish
who are into
websites.
like like into fet. No, all I pointed out was those places can be like highly fucking dangerous. Like it's like looking for a fucking chick to fuck on Craigslist,
Yeah.
and then you get there and fucking John Kramer is standing there with a fucking
100%. You don't know these people. You don't know what they're
yeah,
capable of.
like
You could easily be murdered. Yeah, and it is kind of funny. I was gonna like that's what I don't get, like this whole thing too. I was gonna mention that. Some people won't agree with me, but I'm sure people on the Patreon will. It's just this whole idea that to label everything, this him, his, her, them, they bullshit. It's just like I don't get it because like whatever you do in the bedroom sexually is whatever you do. Like being I guess gay and stuff like that is a little different because you're dating those people and you're out in public, which it should be normalized as it is by now. Like it's you, whatever you want to do, whoever you want to date is all you. That's all good. I'm not going to judge you. I know there's people that do. I understand that. But the fact that we got to cater to all these fucking people and blah, 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 it's fucking stupid. What you do in the bedroom, if you want to dress up like a furry, go ahead, do it. If you want to, I don't give a shit. Like, why are we labeling everything that has to do with fucking sexuality and then actually pushing it on children? Disney has all these fucking weird shows coming out. Like, it's too much, man. Like, there's too much shit.
like I see all shit. I think I seen something on TikTok recently about some motherfucker. I don't know if they were like trans or whatever they were, and they were like trying to set up some fundraiser through TikTok for their kid who may potentially want to go through like a sex change, and the kid was like fucking 4. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this motherfucker needs to be brought out and like hung from a bridge. I was like,
No,
what is
it just doesn't
wrong
make
with
sense. Like there was Chelsea used to be a child youth worker. There's a lesbian couple. They have a son, and they were like essentially he's very young. Like she's at a daycare.
Mhm.
And they were making actually this I think she's the one she worked for the YMCA. So they were like, I don't know, fucking 6, 7, 8, 9 kind of shit. And they were like putting him in fucking clothes, like girl clothes. And then when he actually like went to school and realized what boys dressed like, he wanted to dress like them. Like you can't pressure, let kids do what the fuck they want, especially like that's a sexuality thing. They shouldn't know anything about that. That's why Canada's getting fucked. Like the Green Party, one of our fucking political parties that never wins and never will win. They're trying to push like fucking sexual shit on kids. It was literally talked about in Parliament that they want to like expose children to like fucking pornography and trans issues and gay shit. And it's just like, and like Anton's my best friend. My uncle's gay. I couldn't give a fucking shit what people do inside the bedroom or who you want to date. But it's this idea of pushing it on children bothers the fuck out of me.
Yeah, like because like you said, once you get to whatever age where you make
Figure
your
out
own
what you want to
decision,
do.
yeah, like if and I would always say, God forbid if my son turned out to be gay.
Yeah, like that
Um,
Kevin Hart thing.
but like if he turns out to be gay or whatever, but like if I was in a position or somewhere where somebody was trying to like push on my kids some sort of like weird shit like that would drive me fucking insane.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not being like you gotta go fuck a girl. Like that's what you want. That over there is sexy. You want that. Like it's like I don't see any parents doing that shit. So it's like
Yeah.
when these people
Why do
come out,
we?
like
Yeah.
it is fucking strange. Just let kids be kids, man. It's fucking weird. There's a lot of weird shit going on. It's funny with the conversation we're getting to because I was like just gonna talk shit about horror movies and stuff with you. This isn't getting
It's
us.
funny because you kind of got me on the tangent now because I had seen something else and I think it was probably on fucking TikTok or somewhere as well, some other
Yeah,
fucking stupid bitch, and they're like talking about something about their kids anyway, and like kind of like what you're saying about fucking sexuality and different stuff like that, and something about like her son or her daughter or something talking about like their private area or whatever way she
yeah.
referenced it. And this other fucking stupid bitch that was there was like, "Oh, what did you do?" And she was like, "Well, I have a sex positive house, so I told my son if he goes in his room, he can like play with his flute and do whatever, and then
Flint.
she can go in and like fucking fuck her pussy or whatever." These
Jesus.
kids are like 6 and 7.
And the
What
thing
is
is,
wrong with you?
top.
You should be charged for being a fucking child
And
molester.
being someone, my mom was a nurse. Okay, my grandma was a nurse. From being someone, my mom was like, "We want to put it out there so you know." Kind of shit. Like she's like, if you feel like you gotta touch yourself, do it in the fucking shower. Main kid things when they start to realize like, oh,
Mhm.
this thing kind
Yeah.
of feels good. Um,
Mhm.
it's coming from something like where Chelsea wasn't really exposed to anything. No one really told her. She started to learn it when she got older, kind of thing. When she was like in a teenager or like a preteen type of thing. But guys are different. Like that's gonna always be a thing. We're gonna be more horny. But my mom gave me all these books about like shit, and just it made me want to do it more. So that's also an issue too, where you're like you got to have a good line between education and too much education. Where you're like, all these books are saying it's gonna feel good, so like I might as well try to do it. And I lost my virginity when I was like almost 13. I was still like
And
12.
and again, look, it's not even like I don't necessarily have an issue with it if you've got to cross, if something like that comes up and you got to cross that bridge, you can't. I don't think it's a good thing to just completely ignore it and be like, shut the fuck up, don't say anything about your dick.
Yeah.
Kill yourself, punch yourself in the dick,
Yeah.
hang yourself. But like at the same time, I don't think like if your kid is going around playing with Lego and then you're coming in and going like, "Hey, want to see mom's pussy?" and all this is how we fuck, and I'm like, "Why are
Yeah.
you even bringing this?" Like, unless the kid or whatever
Goes out of
notice
his
some
way
shit.
asking questions.
Yeah, like, do we really need to be going like, "No, well, I want to create like a sex positive environment with my fucking two babies, newborns."
And yeah, I don't like, and I think society is becoming sick with that stuff. And I
Oh
do
yeah.
believe it's part of the whole agenda. Everyone wants to think it's a conspiracy, but if you normalize pedophilia, guess what? These people in these elites in power and the people that actually like fucking kill children for adrenochrome, in my opinion, can actually do it more openly and no one will bat an eye. The fact that fucking millions of children go missing a year is not because of some fucking guy down the street that's a pedo, especially in this day and age with technology and how much surveillance there is. Fuck you. It's the people in power that control the surveillance. Like,
Yeah, 100%. And um, we have like a talk show here called the Late Late Show, and it kind of ties into
how
what you're
late
saying.
is it? Late, late?
No, it's like fucking 9 p.m. So I don't know why they
It's
call it
called the
that.
Late Late Show.
Yeah.
It's pretty lame.
Um, and they had this dude on. I can't remember what he is. He's like some kind of like fucking financial something guy, and he has a
Yeah.
podcast and a book and a this and that. But he was talking about shit to do with the government and the banks and things like that. And he basically said he was like it's the agenda, and it's always been to over here. We have like what would we call them? Like you've got like your travelers, like your Irish travelers.
Like a vagabond, they just go from place to place. What do you mean?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you don't. Oh my God, there's a whole world we could get into. Um, They're like, I don't even know how to fucking describe them, dude. They're like these weird, like homeless, like not
Jim are
home,
fucking is like homeless people.
like so, fucking sovereign citizen, but not really. Like they don't abide by laws. They don't like pay tax or do anything. They claim from the welfare and like they just kind of do whatever. They like live in caravans and shit and like haul.
Bums. Bums.
Yeah, they have lots of money. They drive like Mercedes and stuff like
What?
that. They're all like this. They all smell like fucking sweat and shit, and they all look the same. It's like the Hills of Ice.
How's that a
This,
thing?
right. So this actually could be something we could actually do an entire Patreon episode on, where I could educate you on the Irish traveling community. Now we
Can
don't
we
call
do?
them.
Let's do this fucking
Yeah,
next week or something.
we don't call them travelers. That's like the nice thing to say. We would call them a tinker
A
or a knacker.
tinker,
Yeah, or a knacker.
a
So,
knacker.
so
Sounds like
they'll
some
like
fucking leprechaun shit.
yeah, like if I was trying to like, if you'd done something like, oh, get the fuck away from me, knacker. Like that's like fucking
It's
scum.
a thin line between. I'm not gonna say it. Oh no,
um,
we should do that.
yeah,
Save that, and for all the Patreon fans, we're gonna have some shit coming down the road because I actually like that sounds so fucking interesting. Because
and I
we
think
have like
I think you'll find that really it's like a whole it they're Irish people, they're Caucasian, they don't necessarily look any different, but it is literally like a different race of people that live in Ireland.
so weird. Like we have Vancouver, which is fucking really bad for the homeless population. Like there's literally like they have like Skid Row, but it's not like that where these motherfuckers are panhandling, making money. Um, let's start driving this to a close on a lighter note. Have you tried the Evil Dead game yet?
I haven't actually.
You
I haven't
haven't?
had a chance. Actually,
Yeah,
before we get into that, for
yeah.
anyone
Talk
who's
about
looking at
whatever.
this and it looks like I look like fucking Quasimodo or
What?
Frankenstein or some shit. My face, if anyone has noticed, is like all warped. I'm like fucking Stallone. Um, this morning I had to have Botox in my face.
Well, you trying to be like fucking Joan Rivers?
So I have really bad like tension headaches and like neck pain and shit and jaw pain.
Really?
Yeah, and it's from clenching and grinding my teeth at night when I'm asleep. So it's
Oh
gotten
fuck.
so it's gotten so bad I've had to have facial injections on both sides of my face to try and
How often do you do that?
this is the first time I've ever had it. It cost me 600 euros.
What? How often do you have to do that? Can you not do
I
that?
I don't know. She was like, we'll see if this works to stop you basically destroying your teeth and looking like a crackhead and
Can't you
having
just wear a
headache.
fucking guard?
You see, I wear that at night, but like it's gotten to the point now, dude, where like I basically have a headache for like 4 weeks straight. Just
That's
cannot.
fucking bad. That
And
I couldn't live like that.
I have like I don't know. She just told me the name of the fucking muscle, but it's like it's basically gone to a point now where it's like overactive, so I can't physically let it relax.
Did you ever do cocaine?
Yeah, years ago,
I was gonna
and,
say, I was like, I
and
don't know if that's a good
speed
question.
and
My
speed and fucking
yeah,
everything.
fucking buddies like fucking I like and my buddy Luke, I was like doing like fucking coke and so I worked at restaurants. Like I got slightly fucking too deep into cocaine when I was like in my 20s. And it is like my buddy Luke was like, watch your jaw and shit like that. And we're like going out playing pool and like doing lines in the fucking kitchen. And then fucking, I was telling the story, and then fucking the one day, him and this kid Cheney, he was on dishwasher duty for some reason. We hired this fucking kid that was like just like a frat boy kind of guy, and to do dishes, and they fucking did 2 grams within like fucking 10 minutes, and just like pretty much like a gram each. Like, and Luke's at the fucking bar because he's the bartender, and I can see him from the window going like. I'm like, bro, you're fucking serving people and your fucking jaw is like fucking going crazy.
When I used to do that and then like drink shitloads of alcohol and stuff
Oh
as well
man.
and like smoke, dude, what like I used to have this weird like fucking paranoia slash like sickness for like a week. I
Really?
would totally like fucking like the calm down for me used to be abs and then so then what I done was I decided that I was now a doctor and what I was going to do was I was going to buy bags of 500 Valium or Xanax and I was going to use those to medicate myself out of the downers.
Oh man, it's so crazy. We're just talking about like they're fucking doing like Xanax and shit. Like just makes you fucking tired. Just makes you feel drunk. Have you ever
I
tried
used
fucking codeine, like fucking scissor as the rappers call
Dude,
it?
right? I spent years. I spent like my entire 20s being like, I really, really, really want to try that. Like to the point where I was like obsessed with it, but like it's like impossible to get codeine syrup here.
Yeah. I tried it once or twice. My mom had it for like I don't know what she had, something wrong with her throat. It's when I lived with her, and I was like, I saw the bottle in the bathroom. I was like, "It's fucking codeine," and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna
Yes.
take a." I took like 2 shots of it, and I was like, I was having a smoke, and I was like, just trying to fight the tiredness, and I was like, "Bro, I get why Little Wayne does this all the time. Like, you just feel like kind of drunk, but there's no like." You don't have the, no bloated, no bullshit. I'm not advocating for fucking people to do this, but it is something that you're trying like, oh, weird. Like I get why people do this. It will destroy your fucking lungs and shit, but in your body.
Funny you mention him because like I was like big on him for years, and that was kind of like my intro to like, ooh, this looks interesting and fun and nice, and that he looks really happy all the time. I
It's
could just
rich.
drink that all day, every day. But
Yeah.
apparently, like, doesn't that shit like absolutely fuck up your insides and stuff?
Yeah. If you drink that the way that Little Wayne does, oh yeah, you will fuck up your whole body. Especially like I think it's like your lungs and your lymph nodes and like that's why you talk like this. Like he's fucking has that fucking ass voice and shit, and he fucked himself up.
Yeah,
Um,
no, he's not dead.
Yeah, he's probably a clone. Him and Birdman's fucking him to oblivion and shit. Like that's their relationship's weird too. Is kissing each other on the mouth and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
weird,
like a
weird.
fucking Freemason weird shit.
Birdman is a weird dude.
Have you ever do you know who Mark Dice is? I would love to get Mark Dice on the podcast. Actually, I could fuck get him on there.
The
Mark
name,
Dice is like a super conspiracy theorist guy, but he also like makes fun of like the left and shit a lot. I read his book on the Illuminati. It was actually really good because it was like Illuminati fact or fiction. You might recognize him. You look up his fucking just look up Mark Dice. He's like he'll like go on like fucking, I don't know, some go like Los Angeles on some boulevard, like some beach thing, and he'll like fucking confront people and be like,
I've
uh
seen him before. Yeah,
he's so Mark Dice is really good. But Mark Dice talks about supposed to be the homosexual magic that like people use, like celebrities, and how it's just like it's like some Aleister Crowley shit, like legit, like that he believes, or at least with the research he's done, is that they use it because it's like almost like a smite against God or some energy or whatever. Because I don't fully understand what the what you would gain from just like oh you're not gay but you fuck for some homosexual magic because there is sadist and sex magic, so to speak. I believe there is. It's like you can create energies with sex. When I'm drunk, there's been times where I've like been banging and I feel like I'm like some godly creature. Like you just get this some energy wave through you. I don't know if it happens to everyone, but like I do believe that you're shooting energy out of your like your fucking chakras and shit, your dick chakra, your head chakra. I believe that like whatever reptilians or aliens exist, they can feed off of shit like that too. Like energy exists, right? So like somehow they use this fucking shit, this magic, and then it makes them famous, or I don't know. It's just he like talked deep about it, and I was like, it was like when I was in my early 20s, I was like, homosexual sexual magic. It's like strange. Aleister Crowley shit.
I yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Like, there's definitely been times where, like, I've been like fucking somebody or something like that, and it's just like you said, like you get that feeling like you're like a fucking
Yeah.
otherworldly god. And there's literally been times where I feel like I've had like this weird like out of body where I've been like, I feel this like insane like surge of, I don't know if it's like testosterone and like
Yeah.
strength,
I
and
know
I'm
what
like,
you're
I
saying.
can just like fucking fuck this bitch, you know, punch her fucking face in, smash the wall through, kill a load of people. I
Hulk.
was like, I can do whatever the fuck I want. Actually, I can like have a podcast bigger than fucking Joe Rogan. I can beat the shit out of fucking this person. I can
Yeah.
do whatever. And then like I
You
finish that,
come.
and then I just lie there and go, oh, I'm a fucking loser.
Yeah, it's just like, and you seem so good at the top, and then it's just like so you decline. Something that women I just really I think don't understand that like once you come, everything changes. You
Yeah,
could,
there's a bit, I think it's Joe Rogan, and I can't remember who it is with him actually, and they talk about that whole like post nut clarity thing and just how fucking weird of a sensation and how impossible it is to explain to somebody who's not a dude.
yeah, I know that because you just literally just fucking go crazy. It's almost like you could like if you're like extremely fucking horny, you could fuck the ugliest chick, but she's got an right body, something that gets your gets your juices going, and then you come and you're like, man, I feel fucking stupid. I feel like so low because instantly all the endorphins are fucking gone.
Do you think do you think that everybody or anybody is capable of, or at least has some variation of thoughts about um fucked up shit? Like, I don't know, whether it be murdering someone, torturing someone, raping someone.
I thought this is where you're going with this. Um, yeah, I think that like there's a comedian, this fucking chick. And she talks about that, how it's just like, I thought it was normal that I just thought about the way it would fucking to kill somebody. Or the thing is, especially when I was a kid, like I just think that everyone has weird thoughts. Your fucking brain is whatever. Your brain is chemically wired weird, and especially with the things we've shown in the media in horror movies and stuff like that, you almost like, okay, what would it be like to fucking murder somebody? When I was like 17 and I was like really diving deep into the Carla Homolka and Paul Bernardo shit, I was
Mhm.
like, you have these thoughts like, I don't know, could I rape a chick? Like that's as bad as that sounds, everybody. Like you almost like put your fucking you put yourself in like Paul Bernardo's shoes, but
Mhm.
you're not me, you want to do it, but you're like you almost like try to imagine what it would be like to be like that sick and to like kidnap fucking chicks and then just keep them in a dungeon and then fucking put them in cement. It's just like that case fucked me up just because of like um I was like pretty much born in St. Catharines, like we lived there for a while and we weren't too far from where they lived, and it's just like it's just when it's closer to home, it was like fucking Jeffrey Dahmer, it's just like he's like
Mhm.
in the States, and obviously if you're from Milwaukee, it would feel weird. But it's just like when it comes closer, you'll think like, what the fuck? And like the whole thing of like she Colin Mocha's getting off on it, and like they like drug her sister just to have sex with her because Paul wants to have sex with her. It's almost like, huh, like, you know what? If like, if I say Chelsea's, she's 30, she has a fucking really, this younger sister that's like maybe 20 that looks like her. I'm like, I might definitely probably have thoughts of thinking about fucking her. Like, it's just a man thing, right? So then you're like, you kind of like sort of try to put yourself in those shoes, but then you like have to like define what is good and bad. It's like such a hard parallel. Honestly, even in my head,
It
I'm
is though,
trying to
like,
think about
and
it.
like the mind is such a strange place because I've definitely like I would always be like not reserved, but I'm like, no, I never done that. And I never thought about that. But like I've definitely watched things, heard things, read things, whatever, and then kind of maybe I might be smoking or doing something or just sitting there and I'll just try and like you said, I'm thinking and I'm like, could I just like fucking walk outside tonight and just like grab some random chick? Like, what would that actually feel like to know? Oh,
The
I'm fucking
power.
in this now. I need to like, ugh, I've got to, I basically got to follow it through now. And then, like there's a dude over here who they reckon could be connected to something called Ireland's Vanishing Triangle. That thing we were talking about before.
Oh shit, that'd be a
Um,
good episode too.
called Larry Murphy, and he kidnapped a woman off the side of the street and drove her like 2 hours or whatever to the Wicklow Mountains, which is like in the Dublin Mountains. And I think he like beat the shit out of her and raped her, and then like drove her somewhere else and like beat the shit out of her and raped her. And then he was getting ready to kill her or some shit as he was raping her, and he got seen by two dudes who were out shooting or hunting or something like that,
Fuck.
and they ran him off. Like, but like I was thinking in my head, I was like, like what's the fucking not even a thought process, but like that whole thing, like, okay, he's just a dude and he's driving along, he's like, right, this bitch. That's it.
Yeah. Well, that's like it is weird. Like even again, this topic and yeah, it is. It is. I'm sure a lot of people, especially the fans of Strange Brew, probably are fucking quite sick of the head. Just joking. But it is like a thing because you want to put yourself in their shoes, like especially because I'm fascinated with true crime. Serial killers have been since I was like fucking I don't know 13. You do like have this thing of like, especially like a power move. Especially when I was a horny young kid, I was like, if I
Mm,
could just take it, and it sounds fucking bad, but like this is what I believe most men do think. I've talked to so many dudes, and it's like the same thing. It's like they don't do these things because of the societal norm. But I feel like back in the day, you're a caveman. You just fucking bop the chick on the head. You drug her into your cave. And the thing is, and I'm sure I'm not gonna like, there's females out there probably, on the Patreon or stuff. There's not, I'm not saying that females don't also have those desires, or even don't have the mentality to think and put themselves in serial killer shoes. Like, what would you think if you were like Carla Homolka type of thing, right? Would you go along with it? But she was just as, and I always bring that up just because they're a couple, and they,
Mhm.
both sexually got gratified, sexual gratification from what they did, because they found out later that she was just as sick as he was. And it's almost like this thing, like, what does that feel like this, like, fucking, like, almost like caveman mentality, where it's just like, oh man, I'm trying to describe it, where
Yeah,
you
because I
just,
wonder.
like, you get like just manly man, like dominance, and and that the surge of energy, and it's fucking, I'm trying to like fucking put the word, because it would be crazy. I couldn't fucking imagine, honestly. Like,
Yeah, like, and I definitely think like a lot of it draws into, people can make ties to mental illness and all these fucking
yeah,
million other things, drug problems, alcohol problems, whatever. But I definitely think there's a baseline. There is what you're talking about. I suppose, once you start that process, it's like this weird energy you're feeding off. Because, like I said, if you're, I don't know, fucking a chick doggy style and you feel like the man and you're like,
yeah,
"Mm, just bitch," and
yeah,
you're having all these fucking thoughts in your head. Like, if
yeah,
that's like that from just like compared to what we're talking about, vanilla sex,
yes.
I can't imagine what somebody like that who thinks that's a good idea, how they
Well,
feel when they get into that position. It's like
yeah, I know.
fucking best thing ever.
Yeah, because to them and the way their mentality is, it's like, Ted Bundy is like just going after chicks, and his whole rampage killing, and that fucking like primal fucking energy when he goes through the fucking college and just fucking kills like six people. It's fucking nuts. And obviously it's fucking wrong. But everyone, I feel like, does have these thoughts of like, because the way we structure society, there's still a primal nature, like I said, right? Where our brain is a reptilian brain on top of a mammalian brain on top of a human brain. That's how our brain is formed. So I think at the core, we do have this like anxiety and like primal instinct shit. But also, I do believe, like, I'm sure like these people, and I believe in reptilians, and I believe in darker energies. I've seen shadow people. Like, I do believe that outside of our reality, there is things that we'll never understand that feed off of our energy, like how we eat food. And I've always said that these serial killers could be possessed by something like a reptilian, a demon, whatever people want to say it. But the thing is, imagine the energy that they're giving off. Because I've been in weird situations where I'm just like, I feel like a dark energy. Like when I used to mess with Ouija boards, or like even like, I think that being drunk at points. I used to play the Ouija board when I was drunk. Like this idea that, and they called it spirits, because supposedly when you're drinking, you're connecting with spirits. So these people like Jeffrey Dahmer, maybe, right, need to get all fucked up when he like killed his victims. Like Jeffrey Dahmer was sick and mentally
Yeah.
ill, and he couldn't be sober during any of the shit, because he like knew it was wrong, but he just fucking craved hairless chests because that's what he was into. And it's just like, it couldn't stop him. You couldn't stop. And then who knows if he was possessed, or like, even if he wasn't, whatever fucking entities are outside of this reality that watch over us, or can feed off our energy, they were fucking right there, a bunch of them just fucking jerking off watching Jeffrey Dahmer doing this, because the negative energy is being sucked up. And honestly, something you'll need to check out. I've been writing out the fucking reptilian episode. We're gonna dive back in the reptilians. We did it way back in the day. Me and Justin did the one, like the third episodes of the podcast. And I've cut a lot of things with Justin was in the podcast. I've explained why. The fans know Justin was like a toxic person. And yeah, fucking the reptilian episode starts to get deep, where it's like talking about the sexual shit beyond it. I look deep, and it's I showed Anton, I was like, it's 15 fucking pages. And I sent him a clip of it, and it's just like, the reptilian women have supposedly like a vagina, like it has teeth, and if men try to rape them in the reptilian domain, they fucking castrate them. It just made me think of that because I was like been researching this shit. I was like, what the
That's
fuck?
fucked. But I find all that stuff fascinating. And there's actually something else that came to mind there that you had said a second ago that I would actually love to research and dive into. Is, I suppose, the flip side of all this. I feel like a lot of times we talk about, Gacy and Bundy
Yeah,
and all these different people. I'd be actually interested to look up some of the stories of women who, because I definitely, not saying I've had an interaction with any of these women, but
yeah,
I one short experience. I'll explain really quick. There was basically a chick that I was talking to, and she ended up being into like stuff that I just found kind of
Blood
look.
play and shit or something.
I'm covered in fucking tattoos and weird fucking shit, and there's all weird shit in my house, and I like weird shit. Don't get me wrong, um, but it was like role play, but like kind of weird. Like I'm gonna go out to like we're gonna go out to this hiking trail, and you hide, and I'm gonna like walk through, and then
Oh yeah, I knew
I
a
want
chick like
like
that.
yeah, I want you to like smash me onto the ground and make me bleed a bit, and like and then I want you to
Rape fantasy or
yeah.
dominant. There's a fucking word for it, but I can't remember it.
And like knife play and stuff. And I just for me personally, I was like, okay, don't get me wrong. There was that part of the reptilian brain that was
I
like,
was like,
ooh,
yeah.
ooh, yeah. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, I'm sick in the fucking head. I'm one step away from fucking kids. I was like, I need to get away from
Maybe
this.
not that. People out there like there is obviously fetishes, and that's like Necro is a fucking rapper that I fucking enjoy, and he's like one of the most brutal rappers on earth. You should check him out because he has songs talking about like obviously killing people. He has a song called "Dead Body Disposal" where he tells you how to get rid of a body in like 7 different ways. But he has songs like "You Bitches Have to Get Fucked in the Ass." He has a song called "Edge Play," and it's all about like knife and like getting close to that edge of like, oh, you're almost gonna kill somebody type of shit. And he's a very skilled rapper, honestly. But like that shit is like, I never like I never fucking got with this chick, but it was when I was like probably like 18, and I knew this chick, and she was like super like would talk about like rape fantasy shit, intruder, like you break in the house and attack me, so to speak, and I do believe that some of those chicks have mental health shit from their dad and daddy issues. That's just my opinion.
Mhm.
But whatever you're into is fine. Role play is fucking fine by me. I don't give a shit. Obviously, if it gets a little weird, if you're like, all right, you be my mom and I'll be your son, like that gets a little incesty. But that's definitely was a huge thing during '80s porn. Because when I used to do I used to watch a lot of fucking '80s porn because that is story. It's like I need a little story to my porn.
Mm.
And but like the I don't give a shit what you do, but it is kind of funny that where's this thin line. But we covered, and I was like got drunk by the end of this episode, but it's too good to fucking take down. Is the women serial killers we did like at the beginning was me, Justin, and Billy. Maybe I need to re-listen to it, but I always liked the episode because we went off on shit and like it's like how crazy some of these chicks are, but I would love to dive back into that, even if me, you, and Anton do it, or even me and you, and do like almost swap cast style shit, either for the Patreon or just like for the main show, and either like talk about and just like make it more of a forum where we talk about like women serial killers, but also like our ideas on it and shit, like because it is interesting because I mostly we've covered a lot of men, and I've said that we're gonna start talking about female serial killers. Like I'd like to do certain cases, because we just have talked nothing but about men serial killers. You make me want to fucking because now like I said, oh we'll get into. I got something for you. I think that Anton does not want to do Eileen Warner's. I do. So even me, you, and Billy could do it because I would like Billy would probably be down to do that one.
Yeah, I'm down for that. It's funny just when you're saying that there about like female serial killers and stuff, and I even like, and when I say, I don't want people to take this the wrong way. When I say it fascinates me, it's not
Yeah.
fascinate me from a point of like um jerking off fascination, but
Yeah.
like when you hear the stories of like these high school or these like you know school teachers that are like, in my opinion anyway, like they're fucking hot, and
And they're
like
having sex with
they're
the
like
high school kids.
for like they're having sex with like a 12-year-old boy and stuff, and I'm like,
Man, I
what
want to do a whole
is
Patreon episode about this. I literally did because
yeah,
there's so many. It happens
I
all the
was like,
time.
what, like, okay, right, and I'm not again, I'm not condoning or making an excuse for this, but
I would
like
have
you
done
had
it.
said,
I wouldn't give a
with
fuck.
with with a dude, when a dude fucks an underage chick, I'm not saying it's an excuse where he has an out of being like, oh, the reptilian brain, it's
Yeah.
fine, but it always makes me wonder. Like, I feel like we've seen that, and we nearly have the reasoning behind why a man does it with a chick. But I often wonder, I'm like, these like really good looking like married women or whatever,
And
and
like
like it
fucking like a
seems
15-year-old or a 14-year-old boy that really hasn't really God, is Johnson all fucking ready to go?
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm like, it's such a fucking
it
like
is weird. There is a documentary, and I think I watched a bit of it. It's called "Are All Men Pedophiles," and it discusses how back in the day, right? That pretty much we when one as soon as women became fertile, essentially, that men would do it. And the thing is, how we could our sperm always has been there. And men in the 30s would be having sex with girls that were like 13 and impregnating them and marrying them. And it's in centuries, for centuries, and a long fucking time in our history, a lot of times older men would be with younger women because they were prime. They were supposedly, in some of the in the history, if you dig deep enough, right, they like believe that like 15, 16 was like prime energy for having kids, and it was like the perfect time. And at this, and then you have the idea, right, that you died when you were 30 or 40. So that
mm,
also comes into play. But it supposedly it's in our primal nature and our energy to go after, like, I guess, younger women, just because of that same primal thing in the back of our head that's like procreate, fuck, and it's just like it is crazy. And obviously, yeah, you have to draw a fucking line. I like grown women, but I was fucking unloading some of my car yesterday, and these like chicks are like probably in grade 8 were walking by me, and they're like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey," and they're like, "Do you want any bubble gum?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good." And they're like giggling, like, "Okay." And there's like a group of girls in my head. I want to be like, "Why fucking don't talk to like older dudes?" I was like, "You're gonna talk to the wrong one, and you're gonna disappear." Like
you
it's
should have
just
taught them a lesson. You should have punched them in the face and raped them and taught them a
it's like
lesson.
fucking hammer with them, or
It'd
just
be
like
like it'd be like a dude when he gets caught by Chris Hansen. He's like, "No, I just drove 6 hours to just teach her a lesson. I just wanted to let her know how dangerous it was."
yeah, I know they always say that shit. Or like truck because my car was out because I was unloading shit. It's like try to drag one of them into the car and be like, see? See? And it's like hit him on the hand. This is why you don't do this. It was in the middle of like the street. Everyone would have saw me do that fucking but like in the back of my head, I was like, don't fucking go out of
Do you
your way to
think
talk
right?
to
Do you
old
think as
dudes.
you get older I often wonder this, like, when I see dudes, who've been married, say, for maybe 20 years and they're, like, in their 40s or whatever, and they
Yeah.
just seem quite pacified, and I'm like, "Does she does she hold your 2 nuts in her purse,
I got a buddy
or
like that.
are you secretly like? Because I don't know, I can't imagine a world, dude, until I'm, like, literally, like, fucking skin and bones, I can't imagine a world where if I see somebody attractive or whatever and I don't look at them and go, "Jesus Christ, I can fucking."
Yeah, it's in her fucking brain. Like, you know how many times Chelsea's caught me looking at like she knows I'm an ass guy. So if she's like we're like going somewhere and she's like it like kind of looked at me and she's like I saw you look and I was like she's like if I noticed her ass she's like I know you fucking definitely did. So I'm like I'm honest with him like it's just fucking primal. It's just like part of my being. And I was a fucking perverted kid like when I was younger. She knows that. Like I was all sorts of fucked up.
And that's another thing that I find just, like, fucking bizarre and weird as well, and I even actually tried to, like, I think, reverse this in my head, like, my addiction to females, and I was like I just had so much, I suppose, grief and fucking, like, problems that I was like,
Yeah.
"You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna, like, somehow fucking trick my mind into going like, yeah, it's just a pussy and an ass and tits and all. I don't care. I don't need the problems. Okay, other than like, that half an hour or hour of pleasure, what is it gonna offer me? Nothing and this and
Yeah.
that. And then like I'd go outside and like, it'd be a really nice day and there'd be like chicks in like fucking tight
Short
clothes.
skirts. It's like, oh fuck.
Holy fuck. And again, like it's like I'm looking at someone's ass and it's like, why is that such a, because I'm
Yeah.
the same and it's such a drawing point for
I
me. Like,
don't yeah, it's just like it literally like switches my brain. I could be like not even horny, and then it's like it just switches your fucking brain. It is weird. I was just thinking, I was like, I don't see many girls in skirts anymore. Is that like a fucking it's like a 90s thing? Like in the early 2000s? I feel like everyone wears
yeah,
those like short Daisy Duke fucking shorts. Like I feel like all the chicks now just wear shorts.
yeah.
It's been a long time. I like in grade 8, like chick I lost my virginity to. We like dated like on and off for a couple of years. And it's so stupid. I was so young. But she used to wear those shorts with the fucking thing on the inside. So it was like a short or a skirt, but it was like a short on the inside. She
Mhm.
couldn't really do anything. Fucking boring. But it's just like I just had a stupid thought about like where'd skirts go? I haven't seen anyone wear a skirt in
Conspiracy.
a long
A
time.
scarf conspiracy.
Yeah, I know. Except for there's a restaurant near me And I'm convinced the owner's a massive pervert because he obviously tells him what to wear, and they've been around for a
Yes.
while. But like all the chicks just wear short skirts and black t-shirts, just super short skirts. Like if you were a heifer, you couldn't work there. No way. Like I've never seen anyone kind of even bad looking. It's just like everyone's just like these young chicks in fucking short skirts. And it's like you're a fucking pervert, you fucking weirdo.
He's sitting in the back room like fucking jerking off probably.
I knew a fucking guy. I worked at like Swish LA, which is a Canadian thing. One of the managers would be like, if someone was applying, he'd be like, "Is she hot?" And these were 15-year-old girls, and this guy was like 35, 40. And he would be like he wouldn't hire anyone if they were bad looking. And I'm like, bro, these are like, and I was like 20 at the time. I'm like, these are 15-year-old girls, and you're gonna fucking push it to the limit, bro. Push it to the limit.
Yeah,
I know.
that sounds like the start of a Netflix documentary.
Yeah, literally. Maybe it's a good time to fucking close her down. We have been talking about a lot of different shit. I feel like my brain hurts. I think it's probably the mushrooms, but I think it's because we went to so many topics. I'm like bringing up all the shit in my head. Like,
You know what, right? Before we started recording earlier, I was like, should I have like, looked up some shit or like written down some things that I wanted to talk about? And I was like, I know it should be fine. Sure, we'll be talking about like movies and music
yeah,
and stuff.
that's what I thought. I literally looked up the
And then
Jordan Peele new fucking trailer for the movie. That actually looks. It's called. Have you seen the trailer for
I
Nope?
cannot wait to fucking see that.
It looks fucking trippy. I love alien flicks. Like I think people need to bring back the genre of like sci-fi horror, and actually do it well. Like I've always said, if I had the money and if I just had like $1 million, I would create the craziest reptilian fucking movie, like straight up like the scariest horror movie with all the reptilian tropes of like them getting inside your dreams and them like supposedly raping people and putting imagery inside their heads, because all that shit supposed to exist. I believe that a reptilian raped me when I had a very sexual dream about Shania Twain, and I was like 15 or 16, and I fucking came the entire bed. Like the whole bed was just wet, and I believe that a reptilian took my fucking sperm because I don't even like Shania Twain. It was a full on detailed dream, like programmed in my head.
Yeah,
Fucking
I'm
weird.
actually surprised that that shit hasn't been made, to be
I
honest with you.
know.
I'm
Have you
actually
seen
really,
Jupiter
really
Ascending? That's like the closest.
yeah, like I don't know, I'm just surprised. I feel like that there's definitely something there to be tapped into.
Maybe they don't want to though. I don't know.
See?
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say. It's part of the
so
conspiracy.
strange. That was awesome, man. Like, fuck, I could talk forever, but I haven't even ate yet, and I'm fucking just did a little tiny bit of mushrooms, so I should probably fucking go figure out what I'm gonna do with my life today.
And I
Because
feel like fucking
it's two
after
it's 2 o'clock here.
fuck, is
7.
it time already 7? I feel like I've been hit by a fucking sledgehammer in the face
That's
since I had
fucked.
those
Injections.
injections, dude. It's fucking
That's
horrible.
weird.
It's fucking horrible.
How do you like? Can you not fucking beat that problem with something else or?
Uh, okay, so I went even so far as to get cognitive behavioral therapy.
Hmm.
So like I had to like journal and like she'd give me like these activities to get done every week and like ways to like cope with stress and fucking getting fucking worked up about stupid because like I said, it's that thing where not only do I get worked up about my personal life, but then I would like I said, I would never get down on my position on certain things, like things to do with the
Yeah.
government, things to do, and I'd be like, no, motherfucker. And like I must have just like internally had all this tension or some shit.
Hmm.
And she was like, yeah, you've fucked up your jaw muscles. Like you need to.
Even when I was like fucking doing yay and stuff, I was always worried about that shit because you clench your jaw like fucking crazy and shit, and it's like it is weird. I hope that gets better for you. I couldn't imagine it. Fucking tripped me
Oh,
out now. I feel like I could feel it in my jaw.
dude, it sucks because like you get like these pains up here. Like if this doesn't work, I have to get injections like up here in the temple.
You got a fucking Jeffrey Dahmer your ass. You gotta fucking
So,
drill a hole in it and fucking stick some bleach in there.
because I was looking at this shit and I was like, okay, what? This doesn't make sense. And the dentist does it.
What?
Yeah, I got it done in a dentist's office.
So fucking sketchy. The dentist industry is a conspiracy too. They want all your teeth to be fucked up. That's why they
You know
put
what? We
fluoride.
might we might have a shitload of Patreon exclusive episodes and all now if I end up like being like fucking psychotic after this getting lobotomized by a
I know.
dentist.
I know, literally. I think we have, for all the Patreon subscribers on either both sides of our shows, I think there's a lot of good potential. You will obviously on the main show, we will be doing stuff too, but like there's a lot of things that specifically I want to do for Patreon because like, we're just building now. We only have a couple people really subscribe to the Patreon, but I
Mhm.
want to build it up and show the fans that you're going to get content here that like I keep Strange Brew and like I set it up this like it's essentially my baby. It's my child. So I try to do it the way that I think is right is just stick to certain topics, stay on like mostly stay on the topics, have some banter, but really don't do like once when I likes doing like ran episodes for the strange ones and shit like that. And I'm like, sometimes like I like that for Patreon shit because then the
Yeah.
fans can pay to get to know us more essentially. And yes, it is cheap, but those payments, that $3 a month or whatever, does really help the show. It helps us buy better equipment and get a better camera and do stuff like that. And actually, like it does cost money to put the podcast up on Podbean and all these different sites, and the website costs money. So it is a way of supporting us if you enjoy any content from both sides. But I think there's so much potential for Patreon episodes with me
Yeah.
and you and Anton coming in. Even I would love to get like it would be cool to have me, Anton, Billy, you, all of us do like a fucking rant episode where we just talk shit. So there's definitely things in the works. I can think of a million episodes we can do together. And honestly, we'll do like another Stranger Danger episode sometime soon because we
Mhm.
can just talk because things happen all the time and I could just shoot the shit with you and then we kind of become closer friends by doing that anyway.
We definitely at some point in the near future we need to do that Irish traveler thing. I
Yes,
just
we can
it
do that
doesn't even
soon.
like it, it can even be a short like 45
If you're
minutes.
down, I'm down next Friday. We can probably pull
Yeah,
that off.
because
That'd be fucking fun.
it's such I've always said this to people, it's such a bizarre the amount of times I've tried to explain to people in the States or over this side of the world, maybe it's a little
Yeah,
bit better known, but like, over there, you guys are, I guess, a completely different culture trying to explain to somebody. They're like, "Oh,
yeah.
is it like black people?" No. Is it
No,
like Mexicans? Is it like, is it like going to another country? Is it like foreigners? I was like, "No. That
that
it's
sounds
weird.
so weird.
It's like a different race, but it's also not." But
That's what, yeah,
everybody like
it's
I could
liberals.
if I was on the street, let's
Yeah,
say, and like, 500 yards away, I could tell you, yeah, that person's a traveler.
he's a tinker.
I don't need to hear him. All I need to do is just look at him for a second. I'll tell you
See
straight
how a
away.
knacker? I'm gonna start
Yeah,
calling people that, and they're gonna get really offended.
it's like he's an actor.
I'm gonna call fucking Anton knacker. And you're like, what the fuck? Instead of like, but what up, my knacker?
It, I'm telling you, dude, you're actually going to be blown away when I
So
show you this.
I'm fucking excited for that. So if I go to Ireland or I've met some Irish fucking dudes, like obviously working in bars, stuff like that. And I called them a knacker, they would get fucking pissed probably.
They'd know straight away what you're talking about.
That's fucking funny.
Straight away.
All right, well, let's plan to do that next week. We'll discuss after this a little bit. But again, you can say whatever you want to say, but I appreciate the people that subscribe to the Patreon. We love you guys, and there's a lot of things in the works. I have a lot of ideas, and like we said, we want to do the commentary which it's mostly going to be me and Anton, but I know we've talked about doing Unreal review with you. Me and Anton want to do all three of us, where we review a movie, especially a horror movie that we all enjoy, or even some obscure and fucked up and weird. But I think doing
I would
commentaries
do
would be a lot of fun too. So I've explained to you, and the fans will see it soon. I think I told Anton that the first commentary I want to do. So essentially, is the idea where you guys get to watch movies with us and hear our thoughts and hear us joke about it while we like smoke up and drink and stuff like that. And the first one I want to do is Sleepaway Camp
That's actually a really good one to do.
because it's so fucked, man. And
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but yeah, it gets weird at the end. There's fucking cops going by.
Really, really weird. They're not coming for you, are they?
No, that'd be fucked if they just pulled in. It's like Jesus Christ. All right. Yeah, but there's a lot of fun stuff coming down the fucking pipeline. Not gas though. That's to put a cap on that. Are you guys fucked for gas too down there, or
Don't
we're
get me
fucking over
started.
there?
Don't get me started.
I know. Okay, let's not talk about this. Let's talk about this another
Oh,
time. All right. Well, yeah. Thank everybody for tuning in. We love all you guys. If you want to say anything, you can. If not, we can just cap it at that.
Sorry, that cut out there. I'm not sure what
Oh
happened.
shit! What the fuck, man? The cops are coming after me. Fucking conspiracy.
Conspiracy, we're getting shut
I know.
down.
I said if you want to say anything and shout anything out or whatever, just
No,
fucking do
look,
shit.
you've kind of said everything.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even want to really plug the Patreon because these are Patreon episodes.
Yeah.
But if anybody is looking for my Patreon, it's under First Class Horror.
Mhm.
Other than that, yeah, reach out on social media at First Class Horror. I'm probably most active on Instagram. Everything else seems to not allow me to post or do anything. Um, yeah, I'm gonna really put a push on Patreon, I think, because
Me
like we
too.
talked about before, I can't for some reason some of the shit I try and put on YouTube doesn't post and conveniently can't be uploaded and shit like that. So I
When I through
definitely
our Patreon, we have to do it like we upload it to YouTube and then we set it so only
it's
people
not
that
yeah,
have it listed can actually view it. And I always thought like if worst comes to worst, the video episodes and shit like that might just go to Rumble if YouTube gets fucking retarded when it comes to
yeah,
like censoring shit. Because even if it is unlisted, they should have nothing to do with it. It's only
yeah. Why
for
does it
specific
yeah?
people. They should not be fucking targeting it at all. Like it's
That's
fucking
what because I used to try and do that to get around it, and then I realized that it still was a problem for some reason. And even when I said it on private, it was still a problem. I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with this thing?" But yeah. Look, Patreon, we're obviously both going to be doing a lot of stuff. So
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, stay strange, all you fuckheads.
peace.